Moving on to our video conferencing, this is really where a lot of the power from the OneScreen comes from. This unit, in this case, has the ability to really function in two different worlds of video. There's the H.323 and SIP world for video, which basically allows you to be able to communicate with anybody on that standard space language set. So whether it's a Polycom or a Cisco Tamberg, a Lifesize, a Sony, doesn't make a difference what brand it is. They all speak the same H.323 and or SIP languages. So that way we, through our Clary Icon OneScreen software application, will then be able to communicate with any one of those participants as well, on a point-to-point as well as up to a 4-point call. So in this case, from my OneScreen, I can actually call 3 other H.323 or SIP clients on any one of those brands I mentioned and more, and actually have up to a 4-point call directly through our system. So a point-to-point and a 4-point bridge built in for the H.323 and SIP world. Now from there, we also have a whole additional world called our 99-point world. And that's really where a lot of this power comes from in terms of being able to communicate with really anybody on whatever platform that they have. So at that point, the idea being that in my list right here, as you can see, I actually have the opportunity to communicate with any of these people that are listed here down below. Green is obviously available, gray is not. So very simply put, I can go ahead and click on anybody's name. As an example, I can go ahead, let's see who's available right now. You know, I can go ahead and call, let's call Sufyan. We'll go ahead and invite him to the meeting real quick. Now, what's also a great thing here is that we also have an IM feature built in. So you actually have the ability to do IMing as well. And what this does, as you can see, I've just made a call to Sufyan. Now, he's at his desktop computer at this point. So the idea here is that he has the ability to connect with my OneScreen via his desktop. He does not have to have an additional OneScreen either. Now for that matter, that's just a point-to-point call, so I can also then choose to call many other people if I want to. And now what you'll see is I've also brought in my camera image as well so that I can see what he's seeing additionally. For that matter, let me see if I can go ahead and call Bruce. And I'll just try and make a quick call to him as well, just to show you the feature set of being able to call numerous people. Let me see if I can get anybody else on the call as well. Let's do this here. Let's choose. Looks like Kelly's out. You know what we can also do? There we go. And here's Bruce coming into the call as well. At that point, and his camera's lining up for us. You know, we'll keep it as a 3-point just to make it nice and easy. So as you can see, Bruce just entered the meeting as well. So now I have my third participant. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it as a 3-point call. The whole idea here, though, just as a reminder, is that you have the ability to call up to 99 different participants. Now this literally would cover a wide gamut of hardware platforms, from OneScreens to desktop computers, laptop computers, tablets, smartphones, even a regular phone just calling in on a landline to be able to access the audio portion of it. You can also at that point have the ability to get in through Microsoft Link, and then on top of that also still have an H.323 or SIP client also brought into the meeting as well. So what it does in essence is it makes it so that everybody pretty much in the world at that point would have the opportunity to get into that call. You would never have an excuse not to be a participant in that meeting if you needed to be, because it does cover that huge range of application there from a platform standpoint. Now, some of the great features here are, first of all, the fact that the image application is not static like it normally would be in a regular video conferencing system. What we have here is we pretty much married the touch with video conferencing application together so that I can literally customize my viewpoint every single time I have a meeting. Now, I can always have a static starting point and leave it that way if I want to, and you have a bunch of different options on how you want it to start with, whether it's a single, dual, quad, etc., and of course having other tiles running. But in this case, I have a very great application here where I can go ahead and make mine a little bit smaller, as I don't need to see myself as large, and now I can have Bruce and Sufyan as an example as my two larger applications to where I can see them nice and clear and easy. Now what I'm going to have happen now is I'm going to have Sufyan share a document with me so that we can go ahead and show that we can also share data as well as video. So in this case, not only can you do, of course, your face-to-face video, but now you can also at that point choose to share data. Now anybody from any point, whether it's Bruce, me, or Sufyan, all have the opportunity to share data, and that's what he just did right there. Looks like he's sharing some HTML file, and at this point I'm going to redirect my images over here, just to make it a little bit easier for me to see everybody. And now at this point, I can go ahead and drag and drop this guy open to make it a little bit larger. So at this point, especially if this were a normal call, myself, Sufjan, Bruce, we can now discuss this application and whatever it is that we're looking at. Now Bruce, for that matter, can also share a document. I can also share a document. So at that point, we can even have a few documents open at the same time and be able to toggle between them if need be, instead of just having to go one at a time. There is a recorder feature set built in here too. You can actually record this video session directly to the cloud, and what this does, it will actually record all three of these video windows and any data as well. So when you do a playback, all three of the windows will pop up. If there's any data, that will also pop up, and then you can fully view what was going on in that meeting at that point, and a very easy playback. And of course, the controls are down here for playing, recording, etc. to and fro. You can share them at that point. So if I needed to, I can actually share that then back with Bruce and Sufjan if they hadn't recorded it themselves, and I can actually choose to share it with them so they can view it on their side as well. And then lastly, you also have the ability to check out your analytics or your network statistics, so you can get an idea of everybody's frame rate, of their bandwidth that's being taken, and any kind of issues that you might have with upstream or downstream latencies or losses.